It's Friday. Are you going to the movies? Well, I am after the show. Moses Babatope, co-founder at the Filmone Group. Well, he left the company earlier this month. Bit of a shocker. The talk around cinema circles, he's set to launch a new media and entertainment company that'll go focus on film production, distribution, and cinema operations. However, there are rumors of a non-compete agreement that could stop him from doing that. Now, the timing of that couldn't be more interesting with respect to non-compete agreements. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission, headed by Lina Khan, is seeking to ban non-compete agreements. Now, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has filed a lawsuit this week, I think it was Wednesday, saying that the FTC ban of non-competes is illegal. Here is Lina Khan responding.
So we did get a lot of comments. We got 26,000 public comments. 25,000 of them were in support of a ban. And this was across the country, across sectors, across income levels. Because at the end of the day, what non-competes do is they keep talent locked up. They prevent a more efficient matching between employer and employee. And so getting rid of non-competes will be good for workers, it'll be good for the labor market, but it's also going to be good for our economy. It's going to allow a boost in new business formation, in new startups, and it's going to mean that if somebody has a good idea, they're able to bring that idea to market rather than being locked up.
All right, that's going to be a conversation that pushes further in the United States. All right, so back here in Nigeria, earlier today, we're joined by Moses Babatope, co-founder of the Filmone Group. We had a wide-ranging conversation on Nollywood, box office for the summer, the talent pool, AI, and more. Here he is. Moses.
Hi, Rotus.
Welcome to the show. Good to see you again.
Great to see you, sir.
Some things have been going on, and they've been happening. We need to talk to you about this. Look, you've been on the show several times. We've talked about film so many different times. You've been the face of the Filmone Group. I don't know how much you can talk about, but what happens?
As they say, the only thing constant in life is change.
Yeah.
So there's been a change in guard as regards the Filmone Group. I think what's important to focus on is what the future holds. For Moses and Moses in the industry and Moses with partners, stakeholders, and that's as much as I can say. Rotus, there's been a change.
It almost sounds biblical, like when Moses led the Israelites out and stuff. Okay, cool, no problem. I won't press further. I
appreciate that.
Okay, so speaking of moving forward,
yeah.
This new entertainment group you want to put forward, is it from scratch, or can you give us any details? Are you going to be taking over existing assets? How is that going to work out?
We're having a number of conversations at the moment. And as you know, with business enterprise, there are a number of ways to get started. We're in the creative industry where collaboration is a main staple. So you would see a level of collaboration, a level of partnerships, international and local. So at the moment, it's very, would I say, infant. We're just getting, started to, see what our options are. But certainly, we're going to have to build. We're going to have to build one way or the other. But our ambitions are lofty. They're very, how do I call it? They're grand. The industry deserves a grand approach to it, and that's what we're looking to do. So working with partners, working with people.
You see, you've always done that. You've always emphasized partnerships and coming together. All right, so I assume that you'll take us every step of the way as things are updated.
We'll keep Arise News, Rotus, your program, and thank you for the spotlight you've always had on the industry. We'll keep you very informed.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, of course, every time you come here, it was movies. We're always discussing.
Exactly, and we should discuss movies because now is a great time. What's happening is a great time. The industry is always bucking the trend, and that's why it's exciting to be here to discuss it.
The numbers I have as of the 18th, maybe we can take these one at a time. Your thoughts on Josepo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, as 70.5 million, I think, cumulatively up until the 18th. Yeah, Nollywood, right? You're always big on Nollywood. What do you make of it topping the charts?
Nollywood is doing amazing things at the box office, Rotus. And I know you keep questioning or keep wondering, how is this possible with all the economic downturn and everything? Josepo is another example of phenomenal Nollywood performance. There's been 3 films that have grossed over 100 million between February and April. All Is Fair in Love, Deyemi Okonlawon has his debut. I'm executive producing that. In March, we had Beast of Both Worlds. That's on about 200 million plus. And now Ajosepo, today is 112 million.
Wow.
And we were always very, bullish and hopeful that A Tribe Called Judah going into the year with 1-point-something billion would really, really help the market. And that's what we're seeing. A lot of people are now more into, Nollywood films. Nollywood films this year now account for 53% of the box office.
That is amazing.
That has never happened before in the first third of the year. It's incredible stuff. I just said, well, great watch, great fun. It looks like it will probably, tail out at 180 to 200 million. For a film of its caliber, that's great. And another thing worth mentioning is just looking at the films that have performed. You've had a romantic drama do over 100 million. You had an epic film do over 200 million. Ajosepo is an ensemble of genres, do now over 100 million. The Tribe Called Judah, again, cocktail of genres. So it's very interesting times for Nollywood.
Yeah, maybe you mentioned this already. Beast of Two Worlds,
yes.
Ajakaju, I think
yes.
Ajakaju, that's another
Nollywood film, yeah.
Also doing well, I think that's number 3 as the last I checked. Doing well as well. Okay, and these are just going to grow, right, as time goes in terms of production and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so we've not seen, a year starting this way, with Nollywood starting very aggressively. Typically, you'll see it. People have always thought it's the December window, the last quarter, or sometimes in the summer. This is such a great start. The jury now out is can the momentum be sustained?
Right.
Hopefully the economy gets better, people come out, that's what we're looking at. Like, would there be more films that can, compete very well? There's another film, Alagbede, that's also, as of this morning, in the top 3 or top 4.
Yeah.
So again, it's about, I think, for the cinema industry is like the mix and the balance between Hollywood and Nollywood. That's what we need to get right. We need to push the best of Nollywood, but also ensure that there's a good choice for our audiences to see Hollywood stuff.
I want to get your thoughts on a Hollywood movie, though. Civil War in the US. I mean, I know it's this dystopian thing about if Civil War breaking down in the US. But when you think about the lessons for other countries that have all these tensions and so on and so forth, what do you make of that? What do you make of that film?
So, to be honest, I've not seen Civil War. I've been reading a lot about it, and admirable, performance for A24 in the US, particularly. Domestic release. I think it's their second highest grossing release after Everything, Everywhere, all at once. So it's interesting. It's done decently here. It will be an independent film here. No real comment as to the content of the film. What we've generally gotten from cinemas that people have enjoyed, seeing it. I expect it to do what we expect independent films to do in the market. April ends on next week, Tuesday, I believe. May is upon us. Summer is here. How are you usually pretty excited about the summer? How do you think this summer is going to I'm excited about the summer. Nigeria is one of the few territories in the world that we've started the year ahead of last year, the same period. If you look at the same period, and again, like I said, thanks to local content, the summer looks great. Flags of films like Deadpool 3 with Wolverine coming out, Bad Boys, that's typical Nigerian film. Will Smith.
I didn't even know they were going to make another one.
And hopeful that Will gets his goodwill kicks in, against the backdrop of the Oscars thing. There's something for the families. We've seen Kung Fu Panda do well, this year. I think almost 100 million now. Inside Out by Disney is out. Garfield is out in May. There's a really good dose of family action, local content over the summer. So it's a great time to see this rebound for cinemas against backdrop again of the economy and streaming, whether we like it or not, and very, very, very challenged wallets for people. Average ticket prices this year 3,507. Last year 2,500. In 2019 1,152.
Wow.
So I mean, it's for you to see.
Moses, I've asked you this in the past. I feel like the cinemas are trying to hold back on price increases because, I don't know, if you convert to dollars or whatever and compare elsewhere, some argue they could be high because, the cable providers, multi-choice, they just hiked again. So, do you think are the ticket prices reflective, or you think they could be are cinemas holding back? Like, they don't want to chase moviegoers away.
It's a very, very tough one, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm one of the ones that are very, very conservative in pricing strategy. But the truth is, the ticket prices are very, very much undervalued. It should be higher.
Right.
That's the truth. Like in terms of the running costs and for profitability, the cinemas deserve a lot of applause for how they're trying to get things going. I mean, you go to the cinemas at 10, 12, 2 p.m. There's barely anyone there, but they have to show the films.
Right.
Even if it's 2 people there.
Yeah.
You know, and they have to wait for the big blockbusters when they come. You know, we have to, invest in films and marketing. Marketing and advertising costs have gone up. You know, so and the salaries to be paid, and think about the transport component for even the staff. Late at night that they have to finish on weekends. There's so much dynamics to the way the industry is operated, and I think they deserve a lot of credit. Year on year, despite the challenges with admissions, year on year it's been growth box office wise. Last year was a record-breaking year. So I mean, and that's I think that's where the conversation of such a resilient sector requires a level of intervention. Nobody's asking for money, but a level of support to prop it up.
Yeah.
Because it's showing that there's something there that the audience, connect with, and the operators have shown that they can be nimble, they can manage, they can be creative as to surviving. And I think it requires support.
Okay, so you know what? I'm just coming back to your future plans.
Yes.
With what you're trying to do in this environment.
Yes.
I mean, you've done this all before, right?
Yes.
I've been talking to you since before COVID and everything, and so you've brought partners together. You've built this stuff from the ground up. So I mean, doing it again against this backdrop.
Yes.
How do you see the challenge ahead?
So for me, I see opportunities more than and even
yes,
I see opportunities more than the challenge. There will be challenges, but I wonder whether we can be this bad. And in terms of the currency, in terms of inflation, I feel like I want to believe. The optimist in me thinks is the only way is up. I really think. I think the pandemic. Just look at everything we've gone through, and we've seen that where there is a will. Political will, and where there's concentration on a particular sector, things can improve. I think the difference now is intentionality about the sector. And for me, the government has demonstrated some kind of will with the ministry set up for the creative sector.
Yeah.
And there is engagement going on. I know there's a number of plans in the background. The appointments into the critical departments and agencies, very encouraging. And that gives me a lot of hope. That we can sit down and we can talk, we can, the numbers can make sense. Just even kind of like getting a sense of what the international partners are saying and their interest. That also tells me that there's a lot we can do with the goodwill the industry is generating. Yeah. So I think the word is, optimistic cautiously, and I just see opportunities ahead.
Well, the talent, how are you viewing the talent, the pipeline with the movies coming out? And are there young people that excite you, women, female filmmakers, and so on and so forth? How do you see the talent pool?
Talent pool is fantastic, phenomenal. Yeah. In the last 2-3 months, I've come across some incredible filmmakers, and what I'm loving about them is their willingness to learn more.
Yeah.
Also, their willingness to be conscious about the business of film and the uniqueness of our market. I think what's also great is the international prospects of this market, because the films are getting better. The stories are also there that we've not explored. The raw talent is there. What I want us to kind of focus on as an industry, and I think there are various pockets and various people talking about training, retooling, on learning some certain things, adding professionalism. I know in the last few weeks there have been, more negative commentary on, how productions are done and safety and all of that kind of stuff. And it happens with a deeply independent, industry like Nollywood. I think, as we continue to, highlight these issues and the opportunities emerge, and we have, a good and responsive government, I think that one way or the other we'll start tackling, the various issues. But you talked about, talent pipeline. I'm very, 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 impressed with that. And I think that we just focus and emphasis on training. I think we're looking good.
I can't let you go without asking you about AI. Sora, this AI text-to-video thing that is allowing people to just type up scripts and it's coming to life. Are you worried about what AI, does it pose an opportunity or a threat to movie making? Because Tyler Perry, famously, and we had his quotes here where he was talking about how he reduced production or expansion of his $800 million studio in Atlanta, and now he doesn't have to sit and do makeup for 5 hours. He can just, what's your own take on what AI's impact?
I think AI for me in the Nigerian context and our productions, I think it's still early days.
Yeah.
It can be a threat. I recognize and appreciate that. But it can also be useful for us in terms of, learning, development and knowledge and the ways we go about doing things efficiently. Certainly for the business part of creativity, I think it can really help out. Creativity itself, even the way we're set up and the pool of information required to make AI, effective. I don't think that from a Nollywood perspective, that there's enough data set there to make it as effective as it will be in the West. And I think that there's something we can do around that right now to kind of shape AI now, the image or in the way we want it to be and work for us as an industry. So that's the way I see it.
Always great to hear your thoughts. Moses, you're a champion of this industry. Moses Babatope, co-founder of the Filmhouse Group. Thank you so much. And look, keep us up to date on your plans, because it sounds like they're grand. Huh?
Thank you very much, Rogers. Thanks for having me.